Welcome everyone to week number 7. We are almost finished with our term. This is a super important week. Okay, that being said, let's see what we've got going on. All right, last week we talked about asexual and sexual reproduction and the benefits and drawbacks to each. Asexual reproduction happens in organisms like bacteria where they just divide in half. Sexual reproduction happens when you have two different genders, two different sexes, and they get together and produce offspring. This creates lots of variability in the offspring, and with that happening, you hope that some of the offspring will survive no matter what the catastrophe is that happens. Diseases, traumas, environmental factors, weather conditions, all that sort of thing. So we talked about that. We learned some about heredity. We talked about nature versus nurture, and I gave you a really awesome movie to watch, The Bad Seed. I hope some of you did that because it really describes what was happening in the 1950s and what the mindset of people was surrounding this debate, whether your characteristics developed because of the genes that you had or the environment that you were in. So it's a kind of snapshot into history about what was happening back then. Let me just say, there is still this same debate out there. Okay. And biodiversity. We talked some about biodiversity. By the way, that is a malachite kingfisher right there, and I didn't realize this when I put my photograph up there, but the photograph right back there is the same one. I took that in Africa in August. So this week, you basically have one assignment. Yeah, you got an optional one, and the optional one goes along with the assignments here, the reading assignments. Like I always say, skim the chapters. Ecology is the study of ecosystems. Ecosystems are these contained environments, not completely contained, but contained environments with all the species that live there together. That's an ecosystem. Read the Module 7 overview, watch the video. I also will post this red tides video from Florida, which is very interesting. We have red tides all around the coastline and in other bodies of water. Like it happens to lakes and ponds near where I live. So I know it happens elsewhere besides the ocean, but all along the coastline of North America and, of course, in other places in the world. So your discussion board postings this week are optional. Optional. You can do them if you want to. And this is about ecology and ecosystems, eutrophication. Some of you chose eutrophication as your final project, so you might want to get involved in this discussion board because this applies to what you've been researching this whole term. The phosphorus cycle, which is a limited cycle because there's only so much phosphorus in the world. Wastes and how they're recycled. Energy and nutrient flow. If you're taking a lab, you're doing that now. So all of this can help you with your lab work. Where I just went, as usual. So, what is this one assignment that you have to do this week, your final project? You have been working on it this whole term. Milestone 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't remember how many. Was it an introduction and 1, 2, 3? Okay, anyway, you've had quite a few milestones. You are putting these all together, all of the parts that you've already produced. You're putting them together into a slide presentation. That's very, very important. You just don't put them together into a Word document and send it to me. You're going to get so many points taken off because that is not the assignment. And one thing before we move forward, this is a tremendously important assignment. It's 260 points out of a total of 1,000. That's more than a quarter of your points. So that's 2.5 letter grades. Okay? 2.5 letter grades for the whole term is this one project. Well, that's fine because you have already done all the work. You have already gotten all of this graded. And that means you can take my feedback, you can fix the parts that you need to fix, And then you can put all of that revised information together in a slide format and have an excellent final project, right? Okay, so first of all, I said slides. You can make these in PowerPoint, Canva, Google Slides, I don't know where else, PDFs, whatever. There's so many places where you can make slides. And there's free versions. Google Slides is absolutely free, right? So make some slides. Put your speaker's notes at the bottom of the slides. I will post a very short video in the announcements showing you how to do this. It is very simple. So what the heck are speaker's notes? Speaker's notes remind you what you're supposed to be saying as you're presenting this to your audience, right? Your audience basically is me, but you're making this presentation as if you were going to present this to an audience. Well, you don't put every word that you would say to your audience up on a slide. That just looks like a bunch of garbage. Yeah, so you don't do that. But you can put the things that you need to say in the speaker's notes section that your audience can't see, but that you can when you're looking at the screen. Okay? I'll show you how to do this if you don't know how. It's simple. Include all your milestones and the introduction. I think it's an introduction to 3 milestones. So anyway, go back and look at that. Include all of them. This is not just the last one. This is you're putting everything together for your whole project, okay? Go back and look at your feedback if you haven't already done that and fix the parts that you need to fix. Label every section. You have a final project template in the guidelines for this assignment, and it has the labels on every slide. Where, how, ethical perspectives. Now I'm totally losing my mind. I can't remember the other sections, but you know how many there are. Personal impact, all those different sections that you've already covered. They need to go at the top of the slide so that you're sure to cover everything. If you just start typing and you're just typing away like this is some essay, and I can't find everything, yep, this is not going to bode well for you. I'll tell you that right now. So label. Include imagery, photographs, cartoons, graphics, diagrams, tables, graphs. There's so many other things that you can put. You have to include some imagery on your slides. Like my zebras right there. Aren't they so cute? Isn't that interesting? Look at that zebra right there. He's smelling the air. He, she, I don't know what it is, but anyway. He, she is smelling the air. That's what it's doing with his lips right there. So you got to have some imagery to make an impact on your audience. Words are not going to make a great impact. I promise you. So if your final project is on plastics and how much trouble we have with plastics pollution right now and microplastics and all that sort of thing, you definitely want to have a picture of the floating islands of plastic that are out there in the ocean that are just gigantic. Or a picture of a landfill with the trucks going in and dumping all the waste, and you could see all the plastic in that waste. And you know that plastics don't break down for thousands of years, right? So we have a problem with plastics. You want to show your audience something that makes an impact on them, that gets to them, that makes them care. That's very important. So I give you examples here of what to include. Statistics also are great. I didn't mention that, but statistics are awesome because they also help make an impact with your audience. If you talk about how much plastic is disposed of every year in the United States, that will make an impact because people understand gigantic numbers. They get, that this really is a problem. Those photographs, all that will also make an impact. Label. I can't express that enough for this, because if you don't put those headings at the top of your slides and I have to guess where everything is, I'm probably not going to guess right. I'm just saying. I mean, I can't tell if you just write and write and write. So follow the instructions. Use the guidelines. The guidelines tell you. It gives you the exact outline format that you have followed with all of your milestones. This is not complicated. The only thing is just to put it all together, right? All right. And finally, hey there, giraffe and silhouette. The deadline for getting everything in for this course is Sunday, December 21st before midnight. After that, you cannot upload anything else. You cannot send it to me to upload because I cannot do that. All I can do is grade until December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve. Ugh, terrible timing here, but anyway, I have a couple of days to get all the grades turned in. But your deadline is Sunday, December 21st. If you're getting to the end of this term and you don't think you're going to be able to quite finish up these last assignments because, you know, you've had some medical emergency, you've had something happen in your family, you lost your job and you're having to deal with that, whatever it is, please let me know and we can submit an incomplete request. However, this is one thing that you need to understand. I have to check off a little box when I submit this incomplete request form, and it says the student has successfully completed 70% of this course or more. And if I don't check off that box, if you have missed more than, 70% of the assignments and you didn't pass them, then your request will not be granted. So we can request an incomplete, but you have to have completed 70% of the coursework successfully. You have to have passed it. Okay, so just let me know and we will work on that and we'll get it done. You need to do this before the end of the term, though. That is also something that you need to do. Otherwise, get everything in. So you got week 8 coming up, but I just want to tell you ahead of time that that date is coming up upon us and you need to be mindful of it. Okay? With that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week. It is so cold and rainy here in South Carolina right now. It is just miserable weather, and I debated, I've got my sweater right here. I debated whether to wear that in my video. I said, oh, that's not going to look so nice, but I'm sitting here freezing. Yeah. And I know some of you have snow and all that kind of weather. We don't have snow, but it is so chilly here. So anyway, I hope that you have a good, cozy week and that you enjoy putting your final project together because this is kind of exciting. You've been working on it this whole term, and now it's all coming together for you. With that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week, and let me know if you need anything. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. Just let me know if you need something.